Hi guys, it's Catherine calling you from COVID Central right now, at least my own personal COVID Central. Um, anyway, first of all, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone, so many sweet people literally from around the world who have reached out to me in various ways and with offers of help, support, love, healing. I mean, gosh, I'm so incredibly grateful, and I feel very, very blessed to have all of you in my life. So, anyway, thank you. Um, what I Something that's been rolling around in my mind for the last couple of days, actually weeks, really, has been a big topic: faith and death. And it's been on my mind, and I've been thinking about doing a video. And then the last week, there's been a lot going on for me. And I tell you that not because I'm looking for sympathy. I appreciate the love, but I do it more. I posted the whole thing about my COVID journey and the testing experience simply as an example, because I don't think there's that many people that have been tested twice for one thing. And so anyway, so just to say that. And then also my father has been back in the hospital. And again, the reason that I'm divulging that at this point is because I want you to understand that what I'm about to say is born of me being in a situation where I'm trying to figure out how to respond, how to think about it from a perspective that doesn't increase my anxiety, that in fact maybe even increases my faith and helps me think about things differently. And so if there's anything in my ruminations that resonates with even one other person, maybe that would be helpful. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, or why I'm posting this right now, because I do have a lot going on, and I understand I'm coming from a privileged perspective, but in a lot of ways. But that doesn't mean that I don't have an elderly parent in the hospital with a mother who's being exposed to COVID, that I don't have my own health concerns right now, that I don't have health concerns for my children right now, which are very real, that I don't have some financial questions, that I don't. And again, I'm not saying any of this to get sympathy. I'm saying this to set you up for what I'm about to talk about. So as I've been thinking about these things in the larger picture, understanding all of the stress and tumult that's going on in the world and the change that's going on in the world, and knowing how difficult change is for all of us on one level or another, I've been thinking a lot about faith. And what does faith mean? And how do you there's lots of definitions for faith. There's lots of ways to think about faith. And what's come up for me is a question, actually, which I'm going to give you in a minute. First, I want to say that I'm going to divide any of you that happen to be watching this into two camps. Okay, there are those who believe in a higher power, God, the goddess, source, the universe, love, my personal favorite, the all one. And then there's another camp of people who don't necessarily believe in a higher power, and that's fine. And I'm going to address both camps. And actually, as it happens, I'm sort of in the middle. I sort of believe both. I do believe in a higher power, but I'll explain that in a second. Anyway, so to start with the premise, for those of you that believe in some form of a higher power, okay, whatever you call that higher power, however you address that higher power, creator, source, God, goddess, love, whatever, all one. And I'm getting some backup right now from the weather. I don't know if you could hear that. We just had a great thunderclap. If you believe in a higher power, so if you believe in an all-knowing, all-powerful higher power, okay, that's watching over us, that's doing whatever it does, responding to us when we ask for help, whatever, then you also believe that that higher power doesn't make mistakes, right? And that's a big thing to say, right? Because I understand there's a lot in the world that could look like mistakes right now, right? And there's a lot that we could question. But I want you to imagine for a second what I've been imagining myself doing, right? When I have these questions, when I'm thinking like, oh, this just can't, I mean, like, really? Like, how much more? What else do we need here? Like, what else can happen? How bad can it get? I imagine myself flinging open the doors of the temple up in heaven or up in the ether or wherever you want to put it, and striding up to the goddess and saying, "You fucked up! You fucked up! This is wrong! You can't mean this to be happening." Now, how many of you that believe in a higher power can imagine yourselves doing that? Because when I think of myself doing that, I think, whoa, yeah, that would really probably not be the best plan. I don't think I'd do that. I might try to find a soft way to ask the question, like, are you sure about that? But in the end, I have to believe that if I believe in a higher power, that higher power does not make mistakes. So if you believe that the higher power doesn't make mistakes, then it should follow that you also believe that everything's going to be okay, right? Because if it wasn't a mistake, whatever's going on, it must be that it's going to be okay. It doesn't mean that it's not going to be hard. It doesn't mean that it's not going to be challenging. It doesn't mean that it's going to be fun. But it means that it's not a mistake. And I think that, for me at least, that's really powerful. That if it's not a mistake, then how am I meant to respond to it? If it's not a mistake, how am I supposed to see what's happening? What is it that I may be missing? What do I need to do? What do I need to do differently if this is something that's really difficult for me? You know, is there a different perspective I can take? Is there work I can do on myself that would make this easier to deal with? Or do I just need to sit with the sadness for a while, or the pain, or the grief, and say, okay, and just let it work its way through me and see what magic that does? Because it's not a mistake. So that's the first one. Let's go to the other camp. People who don't believe in a higher power. Okay, so you don't believe in a higher power. You believe that everything's random, that the universe is chaos, this world is chaos, it's all chaos, certainly looks like that right now. If everything's chaos and everything's random, and you're not a raving lunatic, then you must also, on some level, believe that everything is going to be okay in some way. To me, it means that you, on some level, are connecting with your own inner divinity. If we're all, then for those of you that are in the other camp, the higher power camp, for those of you that believe that we're made in the image of God, then we have an inner divinity, right? But for me, for the people who believe it's all chaos and don't believe in an inner power, then you believe in whatever it is that you have inside you. Love, fine. And that can carry you through, that will allow you to walk through the chaos, that will allow you to ride the wave of chaos in such a way that it doesn't consume you, right? Because if we're faced with chaos and we can't make order of it, how can we be okay? The only thing we could do to be okay if it's chaos is to surrender to the chaos and figure out how to ride the wave within the chaos and learn how to switch and turn and flip and swim and maybe drown for a little while and then come back up, because that's chaos. But in the end, it's still okay. And to me, that's faith, right? That's a different level of faith. It's a different kind of faith. So I know I believe in a higher power, just talking about me. And I do believe that higher power doesn't make mistakes. Things feel pretty darn chaotic right now. So I'm not sure that higher power believes in order, right? It may be that chaos is the thing we need in order to evolve, in order to change, in order to move forward, right? In order to learn. We may need this chaos. It's just a thought. I'm going to leave you with that. I'm actually not going to talk about death right now. I think that's going to be another topic. This was enough for today. So, again, if you made it to this part without turning me off, thank you for indulging me. And I hope I've given you something to think about. And I'd love to hear any responses that you have, whether private messaging me or responding to this video itself. Again, I thank you for all of your love and concern and kindness. And I'm grateful right now for this time to reflect on some of these things and think about them. And I'm curious as to know what you think. Thanks. Be well. Bye.